I would have been such a fool to have said no. And actually, Jim and I, we have sort of talked over the years about trying to come up with something to do together, find an opportunity to work together again. And I obviously, I mean, really loved the first film. I was one of those people who, it really got me. I really understood all the subtle and not so subtle themes that ran through it. And I found it very powerful and extremely emotional. And so I was just thrilled when he said, look, we've got to get you big and blue. And so the underwater performance capture, first of all, it's a huge amount to think about. So there's not just the physical challenge of holding your breath. There's then the added challenge of acting out a scene underwater where everything is very different. You're having to imagine coral reefs. You're having to picture, other Na'vi, Metcaina swimming around you. And often acting with a child who is in actual fact a safety diver who's 35 years old and not a 9-year-old girl. So there's that sort of added element too. Then you have the challenge of your movements are very, very different underwater. So rather than sort of sculling all the time or desperately trying to kick your legs to sort of stay in one place, finding that serenity and that calm, that's another thing. So there's all of that to take care of first. Then you have a wetsuit with motion capture bobbles all over you. Then you have a helmet and an arm with a GoPro sat in the front of it. What I love, though, about Jim deciding to put the actors in the water is that Jim does have, and I don't know any other person in my life like this, Jim does seem to have a sort of an inherent belief that humans can be capable of almost superhuman things sometimes, as he is. I mean, we've all seen it. But he also believes that everyone can push themselves just that little bit further than they ever believed that they were prepared to. And I love seeing him encourage people to go that extra mile and try that new experience that they were afraid of or daunted by. And luckily for me, I wasn't daunted by any of it. But if it weren't for Jim saying, you could do all this water stuff if you want to. I mean, we could always get the stunt people to do it. I'm like, do you know me? Of course I'm going in the water. So it really has been it's just been fantastic, sort of mind-blowing, really. It is remarkable how much is being picked up in terms of your physical movements, and how, I mean, we walk in a particular way. The Na'vi don't walk just like a regular human being. There's a sort of a composure to it, and a real strength and a groundedness. They walk in a very fluid way with their legs. They almost lead with their hips. Their shoulders are very upright. It's different, not kind of like a slouchy human who probably doesn't think about how they're holding themselves when they walk down the street. And the tiniest adjustments to that Na'vi gait, it's really, you see it immediately, the difference from one take to the next. I'd watch and I'd go, oh God, I forgot to do my walk. And then you correct it and it makes the most enormous difference to the character. So learning to appreciate the subtleties of movement has been really great, actually. Yeah, really interesting.